Srivalli, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Cybersecurity and Data Science in MLR Institute of Technology. Today we are going to discuss about binomial quotient and binomial theorem and also principle of mathematical induction, and we are going to see the examples under principle of mathematical induction. First, let us understand what is meant by binomial quotient. So here in mathematics, any of the positive integers which occurs as a quotient in the binomial expansion of a plus b whole power n is a binomial quotient. So here in the positive integers which occurs as a binomial expansion. So here binomial expansion is a plus b whole power n is equal to sigma r equal to 0 to n a power n minus r into b power r, and here nc0. So nc0 we can write, or otherwise sigma r equal to 0 to n a power n minus r into b power r. So here, so this is the expansion of a plus b whole power n. And whatever we are taking here under this a plus b whole power n, so it will be having a positive integer. And the coefficients here for this a plus b whole power n is, so n0, n1, so on, n2, like that. So we'll have up to ncr, that is nr. And these numbers are called the coefficients of binomial. So binomial coefficient, it tells us here how many ways you can choose a certain number of items from a larger group without caring about the order. So here, without caring about any order, this binomial coefficient always tells us how many ways we can choose this particular number of items from the larger number of items. So let us suppose here, this is n, this is a larger number, and we are going to choose here r items from the n items. So in how many ways we can choose this r items from the n data, that is called here the binomial coefficient, and that number we can call it as a binomial coefficient here, and we can write it as here NCR. So NCR is nothing but n is the total number and r is a certain one number of items you are going to choose from n. Now it read as n choose r. So which means that from n items, how many ways can I choose r items? Now, where are these binomial quotients are used? So first application we can say, or first where we will be using is combinations. Why? Because we know that combinations is nothing but you are going to select some certain number of elements from the total number of elements. For example, here we are going to select 3 students out of the 5 students. So we are going to select 3 out of the 5, which is nothing but 5, 3. And you will be getting here 10. Means in how many ways I can choose 3 students out of the 5 students is 10 ways we can choose. So in the same way here, if you take here x plus y whole square is equal to, we can write it as x square plus 2xy plus y square. Now if you observe here, this is 1 number we have, 2 we have, and here 1. And these 3 are called binomial coefficients. This is what here, it will be used in the binomial theorem also. And not only that, even it will be used in Pascal's triangle. So here Pascal's triangle is generated to use the, find out the binomial coefficients. We are able to generate this by using binomial coefficient. So now the binomial coefficients are used in combinations, binomial theorem, which is used to expand the expressions like a plus b power n, and also Pascal's triangle. So here, what is a Pascal's triangle here? So this the next number you will get the sum of the above numbers here. So 1, and here you will get 1 here. This is 2, and here 1. You will get here 2 plus 1, 3, 3, 3. And here you will get 1, 1, 4, 4, 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. So this is like what is a Pascal's triangle. And here this is a Pascal's triangle which is used to generate the binomial quotients also. Next we have applications. So what are the applications of binomial quotient is? It will be used in the counting purpose. So counting we already know, and combinatorics we know. So which is nothing but, in the last sessions we have discussed about what is meant by counting and what is meant by combinatorics also. Means the counting is nothing but you're counting the number of objects. So for counting the number of objects, we have basic building blocks like sum rule and product rule. Either you can go for the addition or you can go for the multiplication also. So next we have, it is used in the binomial theorem also to expand this a plus b whole power n and to find out the binomial coefficients. And it is also used in probability theory. So how it will be used in probability theory is to finding out the number of outcomes. And also it will be used in real life examples. So these are the few examples where we have for the what we can say binomial coefficients. Now, what is meant by binomial theorem? Okay, we have done with the binomial coefficient. Now, what is meant by basically a binomial theorem? So, if the expression contains two or more terms, so let us suppose here x plus y, this is two terms, or we can say that z. So, if the expression contains two or more terms, then it is said to be binomial. Most probably, we can consider it as two terms here. If the expression contains two terms, we can say it is called a binomial. And this binomial theorem, it gives a formula to expand the powers of a binomial expression, an expression with the two terms like a plus b whole power n. So now here a plus b whole power n is equal to, here what is the formula is, the binomial formula, a plus b whole power n is equal to sigma r equal to 0 to n a power n minus r b power r. So this is a binomial theorem formula. So here, if you observe here, so we are going to prove this binomial theorem by using the principle of mathematical induction. By using the principle of mathematical induction. So here this is a binomial theorem formula and we are going to prove this by using the principle of mathematical induction. But first of all, we need to understand why, because if you want to prove the binomial theorem, if you want to understand what is the proof of binomial, first of all we need to understand what is principle of mathematical induction. Why? Because as we are going to prove this binomial theorem by using principle of mathematical induction, definitely you need to understand what is principle of mathematical induction and how to solve the problems. So that is why first we are going to concentrate on what is principle of mathematical induction and also how to solve the problems on this principle of mathematical induction, so that we will be understanding the clarity about principle of mathematical induction. In the next session, we can go for binomial theorem proof. So here, let us suppose see principle of mathematical induction. Consider a statement P of n, where n is a natural number. Then to determine the validity of P of n, for every n, use the following principle. So here we are considering one statement which is called as here P of n, where this n is nothing but here as a natural number. And to determine this validity means, whether P of n is true for all cases, for every natural number or not. So for every n, you have to follow these three steps. Means if you want to check, if you want to confirm that the P of n is true for all the natural numbers, you have to check three conditions. After checking these three conditions, if you are getting it is satisfied here, then we can say that the given P of n is true for all the natural numbers. So what is the first step? Let us see here. Check whether the given statement is true for n is equal to 1. Means whatever the given statement statement is, so you have to consider that given statement as P of n. And that P of n must be true for n is equal to 1. That is the first step. Now what is the second step is, you have to assume that the P of n is true for n is equal to 4. K. Means first you have to assume that the given statement is true for n is equal to k, and where k is nothing but it is always a positive integer. Now prove that the results are true for P of k plus 1 for any positive integer k. Means by assuming that P of n is true for n is equal to k, if you can able to prove that P of k plus 1 is true, then we can say that P of n is true for every natural number. So in the above mentioned conditions are satisfied. If the above conditions are satisfied here, then it can be concluded that P of n is true for all n natural numbers. For all n natural numbers, it is true. Means here the principle of mathematical induction is nothing but you are going to check whether the P of n is, the given statement P of n is true for all the natural numbers. So if you want to prove that, you have to check these three conditions, that is step 1, 2, 3. And what is the step 1 is you have to check whether the P of n is true for n is equal to 1 or not. If it is true for n is equal to 1, then you have to go for the second step. And the second step is we have to assume that P of n is true for n is equal to k. Means you need to substitute that n is equal to k in the given statement. And by assuming that, you have to check that whether P of k plus 1 is true or not. So if you can able to prove this, all the three statements, all the three steps, then we can say that the P of n is true for all the natural numbers. Now, let us see the examples on principle of mathematical induction. Means how to solve this problem by using the mathematical induction. How to check that whether the given statement is true for every natural number. So, first one is prove that the formula for the sum of n natural numbers holds true for all natural numbers, that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus so on plus n is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2 using the principle of mathematical induction. So the thing is here, you have to consider the given statement is, this is a formula for sum of n natural numbers. We know that sum of natural numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2. But here we need to confirm that, we need to check that by taking those three conditions, whether the P of n is true for all the natural numbers or not. So now let us see how to solve the problem here. So the solution is, first you need to write down the given statement. The given statement is P of n, that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus so on plus n is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. So this is the given statement P of n. Now let us check that whether P of n is true for n is equal to 1. So here we have to check that whether P of n is true for n is equal to 1 or not. So that is a step 1 here. So now substitute n is equal to 1 in equation 1. So here this is equation 1. So okay, this is equation 1. So now if you substitute here, n is equal to 1 means here n, if you consider n here, n is equal to 1, this is LHS. And here RHS is what? N into n plus 1 by 2, that is nothing but here is equal to 1 into 1 plus 1 by 2, which is nothing but 2 by 2 is equal to 1. So which is nothing but here RHS. So as LHS equal to RHS, we can say that P of n is true for n is equal to 1. So now here we have done only first step. Then the second step is here. Assume P of n is true for n is equal to k. So here we have to assume that n is true for, P of n is true for n is equal to k. Then substitute n is equal to k in equation 1 here. Then what you will get here is, so 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on plus k is equal to k into k plus 1 by 2. So this is equation 2 here. So okay, so next here, after that what we have to go is, so we have assumed that P of k is true for n is equal to k. Then after that, next third condition is, by assuming that here you have to substitute n is equal to k plus 1 here. So let us see here whether P of n is true for n is equal to k plus 1 or not. So just substitute n is equal to k plus 1 here. So just n is equal to, substitute n is equal to k plus 1 in equation 2. If you substitute n is equal to k plus 1 in equation 2, then what you will get here is 1 plus 2 plus so on plus k plus 1 is equal to k plus 1 into k plus 1 plus 1, which is nothing but by 2 you will get here. But before this here, if you see here, before this you will get here k also. Now up to k here, what is the equation here? Equation 2. So out of this equation 2 here, can I substitute here k into k plus 1 by 2? Yes, obviously. So then write down k into k plus 1 by 2 is equal to here we can say that here plus k plus 1. So here this is RHS. You need to solve this until you get here RHS. So just substitute here. So what you will get here is, so next here k into k plus 1 plus 2 into k plus 1 by 2. So which is nothing but here, if you observe k plus 1 you can take common, then you will get k plus 2 by 2. So this is, which is nothing but here RHS. So this is LHS and you have solved until you got RHS. Then we can say that it is hence proved. So as we got that here, so first thing what we have done is we have taken first step is n is equal to 1 and we have solved that p of n is true for n is equal to 1. After that we have taken the second step here. So second step is we have assumed that only n is true for n is equal to k, p of k is true for n is equal to k, and as we have substituted here, and next we have substituted n is equal to k plus 1 in the equation 2, and by assuming that n is equal to k, we have solved here this LHS until you got RHS. Then we can say that here those three conditions are satisfied, those three steps are satisfied. Then we can say that p of n here, so this is p of n. P of n is true for every natural number. Next, we also have the second question here based on the principle of mathematical induction only. The question here is, so given p of n is 1 into 2 power 1 plus 2 into 2 power 2 plus 3 into 2 power 3 plus so on plus n into 2 power n is equal to n minus 1 into 2 power n plus 1 plus 2. So this is the equation 1 here. Now here you have to solve it. So first step 1 is what here? N is equal to 1, you have to substitute. So if you substitute n is equal to 1 here, then you will get 1 into 2 power 1 is equal to 1 minus 1 into 2 power 1 plus 1 plus 2. So if you observe here, 1 minus 1 is 0, 0 into 2 is 0, then you will get here 2 is equal to 2, which is nothing but hence proved LHS is equal to RHS. Then we can say that P of n is true for n is equal to 1. Now what is the step 2 is, we have to assume that P of n is true for n is equal to k. So if you assume that P of n is true for n is equal to k, then what you have to do is you have to substitute this n is equal to k in equation 1. So substitute n is equal to k in equation 1. Then what you will get here is P of k 1 into 2 power 1 plus 2 into 2 power 2 plus 3 into 2 cube plus so on k into 2 power k is equal to k minus 1 into 2 power k plus 1 plus 2. So this is what you will get here. So let me write in the down up itself here so that you will get clarity here. So here P of k is equal to 1 into 2 power 1 plus 2 into 2 power 2 plus 3 into 2 cube plus so on plus k into 2 power k is equal to k minus 1 into 2 power k plus 1 plus 2. So here you have to substitute n is equal to k plus 1. Substitute n is equal to k plus 1 in the equation 2 here. So then what you will get here is, so 1 into 2 power 1 plus 2 into 2 square plus 3 into 2 cube plus so on. Here k plus 1 into 2 power k plus 1 is equal to k plus 1 minus 1 2 power k plus 2 plus 2. So here if you observe here, we got k plus 1 into 2 power k plus 1. But before that, what you will have here? So k into 2 power k. So then this is nothing but here again equation 2. So then here you can write down k minus 1 into 2 power k plus 1 plus 2. Instead of this equation LHS, I am writing RHS. So now here k minus 1 into here 2 power k plus 1 plus 2. So then after that plus k plus 1 into 2 power k plus 1. So now if you observe here, so what you will get here is, we are taking here 2 power k plus 1 common, then k minus 1 plus k plus 1 into 2 power k plus 2. So plus 1 minus 1 will get cancelled. Then you will get here 2 power k plus 1 into 2k plus 2. And now if you observe here 2, 2, so then you just write down here 2 power k plus 2 here plus 2. So now here if you observe here, this is also RHS here, k into 2 power k plus 2 plus 2, and this is RHS here, and this is LHS. As we have got the same answer here, that is LHS equal to RHS, then we can write down that it is hence proved. Means what we are doing here is, we have taken the first as the given statement. In the given statement itself, we are substituting n is equal to 1. If we are getting LHS equal to RHS, then we can say that P of 1 n is true for n is equal to 1. And next we are taking the second step, that we are just assuming that P of n is true for n is equal to k. Means we are just substituting n is equal to k. And by assuming that n is equal to k is true, we are proving that P of k plus 1 is also true. So means if you want to prove that P of k plus 1 is true, you have to substitute again n is equal to k plus 1 in the equation 2. And what we have to do is, so by assuming that first one is true, and you have to substitute in this equation, and until you get here LHS equal to RHS, you need to solve it. So this is like how you need to solve the principle of mathematical induction problems. So now here, what we have discussed in today's session is, what is meant by binomial quotient, what is binomial theorem, and what is principle of mathematical induction, and what are the steps to be covered to solve the principle of mathematical induction. And we have also solved here the two problems which comes under principle of mathematical induction. So by this here, today we'll end the section. Thank you.